The massive alien ship hung in space like a floating city. Its metal walls sparkled with strange lights, and through the large windows, stars looked like tiny diamonds. Inside the ship, Hyunwoo Park walked down a long hallway. His boots made soft sounds on the smooth floor. He wore a blue uniform with Earth symbol on his chest. Hyunwoo was 28 years old and came from Earth. He had black hair and calm eyes. Today was very important. The Alien Federation was deciding if humans could join their group of planets. Hyunwoo represented all of Earth. The hallway led to a huge room. The ceiling was so high that Hyunwoo had to look up to see it. Strange. Creatures from different planets sat around a big table. Some looked like tall lizards with green skin. Others glowed like living light. There were also bug-like aliens with many arms. At the head of the table sat Commander Veltar. He came from the Zephyrian Empire. His skin looked like crystal and light passed through parts of his body. When he moved, small rainbows danced across his face. Veltar was very old and had seen many wars. "Welcome, human," Veltar said. His voice sounded like music mixed with thunder. "Please sit." Hyunwoo sat down on a chair that was too big for him. The other aliens stared at him. Some looked curious. Others seemed worried. Hyunwoo kept his face calm, but inside he felt nervous. "We have studied your planet," Veltar continued. "Earth shows promise. Your people are smart. You build interesting things. But we have concerns." Veltar pressed a button and pictures appeared in the air above the table. The pictures showed Earth from space. They showed human cities, ships, and space stations. "Your military is very small," Veltar said. "You have only 12 ships in space. Other planets have thousands. You have no big weapons protecting Earth. How do you defend yourselves?" The lizard-like alien nodded. "The Saurian Empire has 50,000 warships," it said, with a hissing voice. "We need strong allies." The glowing alien spoke next. Its voice sounded like wind chimes. "The Luminari have energy shields around all our worlds. Safety comes from strength." Hyunwoo listened but said nothing. He had been told to stay quiet and learn. "The galaxy is dangerous," Veltar explained. "There are the Void Hunters. They eat entire planets. They turn living things into food for their ships. Weak civilizations do not survive." A woman walked into the room. She had long black hair and wore a white uniform. This was Da-eun Kim. She worked with the aliens as a cultural helper. She was human like Hyunwoo, but she had been living with the Federation for 2 years. "Commander Veltar," Da-eun said with a bow. "I have the reports you asked for." "Good," Veltar said. "Tell us about human culture, Da-eun." Da-eun looked at Hyunwoo for a moment. Her eyes seemed to say something, but Hyunwoo was not sure what. "Humans are interesting," Da-eun began. "They think differently from other species. They solve problems in unexpected ways. But are they strong?" asked the bug-like alien. Its voice clicked and buzzed. "The Hive Collective values strength above all." "Humans survived on a difficult planet," Da-eun said carefully. "Earth has dangerous weather, wild animals, and natural disasters. Humans learned to adapt." Veltar studied the pictures of Earth again. "Your cities are small compared to ours. Your technology is basic. You have not even explored your whole solar system yet." "We are still learning," Hyunwoo said. These were his first words in the meeting. "Learning is good," Veltar agreed. "But learning takes time. The Void Hunters do not wait for species to grow strong. They attack when civilizations are weak." The meeting continued for hours. The aliens asked many questions about Earth's defenses, population, and resources. Hyunwoo answered honestly. Earth had 3 billion people. They had some space technology, but nothing as advanced as the Federation. "If Earth joins the Federation," Veltar said finally, "we will protect you. But protection has a cost. You must give us access to your mining resources. You must send young humans to serve in our military. You must allow Federation bases on your planet." Hyunwoo felt uncomfortable. This sounded more like being conquered than joining as equals. "How many other species have these same agreements?" Hyunwoo asked. Veltar looked proud. 47. Civilizations are under Federation protection. They are all safe and happy. Dayun's eyes met Hyunwoo's again. This time he understood her look. Something was wrong. Later, when the meeting ended, Dayun found Hyunwoo in his guest room. The room was big and fancy, but the furniture was made for aliens. Everything was too large. We need to talk, Dayun whispered. But not here. The walls have listening devices. They walked to a garden area inside the ship. Strange alien plants grew under artificial sunlight. The air smelled like flowers mixed with metal. The Federation is not what it seems, Dayun said quietly. Those 47 protected civilizations? They are basically slaves. They work in Federation mines. Their children become Federation soldiers. They cannot make their own choices. Hyunwoo felt angry but kept his voice low. Then why are you helping them? Because I am gathering information, Dayun said. Earth sent me here to learn about the Federation. What I learned is that they take over weak planets by offering protection. But Earth really is weak, Hyunwoo said. We do not have big fleets or superweapons, Dayun smiled. That is what they think. But humans have something the Federation does not understand. What? The ability to turn anything into a weapon, Dayun said. The ability to fight even when victory seems impossible. The willingness to sacrifice everything for freedom. Before Hyunwoo could ask more questions, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Red lights flashed in the garden. An alien voice spoke over loudspeakers in a language Hyunwoo did not understand. Dayun's face went pale. That is the attack alarm, she said. Something is coming. They ran back toward the main areas of the ship. In the hallways, alien crew members rushed past them. Everyone looked scared. Hyunwoo and Dayun reached the bridge just as Commander Veltar was shouting orders. Through the big windows, Hyunwoo could see dark shapes moving between the stars. The shapes were huge and looked alive. Void hunters, Veltar said. His crystal skin had lost its glow. 12 ships. How did they find us? The Federation fleet tried to move into defensive positions, but the enemy ships were already surrounding them. Hyunwoo had never seen anything like the Void Hunter vessels. They looked like giant space creatures with pulsing skin and tentacles instead of metal parts. This is impossible, Veltar muttered. Our route was secret. Only Federation. Command knew our location. Hyunwoo realized what this meant. Someone had betrayed them. The Void Hunters had been waiting. As the first enemy weapons began charging with an evil red glow, Veltar turned to Hyunwoo with desperation in his crystalline eyes. Where is your backup? Veltar demanded. Surely Earth has emergency fleets, hidden weapons, something to help us? Hyunwoo looked at Dayun. She nodded slightly. Hyunwoo pressed several buttons on his communication device in a pattern that the aliens could not understand. You are looking at it, Hyunwoo said calmly. Veltar stared at him in confusion as Hyunwoo and the small group of humans aboard the ship began moving with sudden purpose. The alien ship shook as the first Void Hunter attack hit the shields. Hyunwoo grabbed onto a nearby rail to keep from falling. The lights on the bridge flickered, and sparks flew from some of the control panels. All ships, defensive formation. 7, Commander Veltar shouted into his communication device. His crystal skin was now completely dark, showing his fear. Through the large windows, Hyunwoo could see the Federation fleet trying to organize. There were 23 ships in total. Some were huge warships with thick armor and big guns. Others were smaller and faster. All of them looked tiny compared to the Void Hunter vessels. The Void Hunter ships were like living nightmares. Their hulls pulsed like beating hearts. Long tentacles waved from their sides and glowing spots covered their surfaces like infected wounds. The largest one was as big as a small moon. Strange sounds came from them, like screaming mixed with static. How many ships do we face? Asked the lizard alien. His green skin had turned pale. 12 confirmed, replied the bridge crew member. But sir, they are much larger than our intelligence reports suggested. Veltar's hands shook as he studied the tactical display. Red dots showed enemy ships completely surrounding the Federation fleet. This cannot be happening. Our scout said the nearest Void Hunter force was months away. A young human man approached Hyunwoo. This was Min-ho Choi, the communications officer from Earth. He had been quiet during the diplomatic meetings, but now his eyes were sharp and focused. "Sir," Min-ho said quietly to Hyunwoo, "I have been monitoring their transmissions. The Void Hunters are not speaking randomly, they planned this." Min-ho showed Hyunwoo a small device that was translating some of the enemy signals. The words that appeared were chilling. "Ambush successful. Federation convoy trapped. Begin harvesting protocol." They knew we were coming, Hyunwoo realized. Someone told them our route. "That is impossible," Veltar said, overhearing them. "Only the highest levels of Federation command knew this mission's path." Dayun moved closer, to the group. "Commander, with respect, the impossible is happening right now." Another blast hit the ship, stronger this time. Several alien crew members fell to the floor. Warning lights flashed everywhere, and the air filled with the smell of burning electronics. "Shield strength down to 60%, reported a bug-like alien at the weapons station. "The enemy weapons are unlike anything in our databases." Hyunwoo looked out at the battle. The Federation ships were firing their weapons, but the beams seemed to have little effect on the Void Hunter vessels. The organic hulls absorbed the energy or deflected it harmlessly into space. "Their ships are alive," Dayun explained to Hyunwoo. "They grow them instead of building them. Normal weapons do not work well against living tissue that can heal itself." One of the smaller Federation ships exploded in a ball of fire, then another. The Void Hunters were not just attacking randomly. They moved with purpose, surrounding and destroying the weakest ships first. "We are losing," the glowing luminary representative said. Its light was flickering with panic. "We must retreat." "Retreat where?" Veltar snapped. "They have us surrounded, and they are faster than our ships." Hyunwoo watched the tactical display carefully. The Void Hunters were using a classic hunting pattern. They would destroy the escort ships first, then capture the main vessel. They wanted prisoners, not just destruction. "Why are they not destroying us all at once?" Hyunwoo asked. "They have enough firepower." Min-ho checked his translation device again. "Sir, I think they want to capture Federation technology, and they want to question the crew about other Federation locations." This made sense. The Void Hunters were not just raiders. They were building an empire by consuming other civilizations. Each victory made them stronger. "We need to send a distress signal," Veltar said. "The nearest Federation base can send reinforcements." "Sir," the communications officer replied, "the enemy is jamming all long-range transmissions. We cannot call for help." The situation was becoming hopeless. More Federation ships exploded. The ones that remained were taking heavy damage. The bridge crew looked terrified. "There must be something we can do," Veltar said desperately. He looked around the bridge as if expecting to find a miracle. His eyes stopped on Hyunwoo and the other humans. "Your species," he said slowly. "You claim to be survivors. What would humans do in this situation?" Before Hyunwoo could answer, the largest Void Hunter ship moved closer. Its weapons began charging with a terrible red glow. The energy buildup was enormous. "Planet killer weapon," whispered the tactical officer. "If they fire that, it will destroy this entire ship in one shot." "Why are they waiting?" Dayun asked. Min-ho studied his device. "They are demanding our surrender. They want us to lower shields and prepare for boarding." The bridge fell silent except for the sounds of alarms and distant explosions. Everyone looked at Commander Veltar, waiting for orders. Veltar closed his crystal eyes. When he opened them, he looked defeated. "We have no choice. If we surrender, maybe some of us will live." "No," Hyunwoo said firmly. Everyone turned to look at him. The young human stood calmly, despite the chaos around him. "You said the galaxy is dangerous," Hyunwoo continued. "You said weak civilizations do not survive. But you are wrong about what makes a civilization weak." "This is not the time for philosophy," Veltar said angrily. "We are about to die." "Maybe," Hyunwoo agreed. "But not because we are weak. Because you think like prey instead of predators." Da-un smiled slightly. She understood what Hyunwoo meant. The Void Hunters are hunters, Hyunwoo explained. They expect their prey to run or hide. They do not expect their prey to fight back in ways they cannot predict. Fight back? The lizard alien hissed. With what? Our weapons do not work against them. Not your weapons, Hyunwoo said. Our methods. He pressed his communication device, again sending another coded signal. Around the bridge, the other humans began moving. They had been standing quietly, appearing helpless. Now they moved with purpose and confidence. What are you doing? Veltar demanded. Something humans learned long ago, Da-un answered. When you cannot win with strength, you win with cleverness. A young human woman named So-Young Lee approached the engineering station. The alien engineer tried to stop her, but she showed him a device that made him step back in surprise. Human technology? The engineer asked. Human thinking, So-Young corrected. May I? At the weapons station, a human man named Dong-hyun Kim was talking rapidly with the bug-like weapons officer. He was showing the alien something on a small tablet. This is madness, Veltar said. What can 12 humans do that our entire fleet cannot? Something you never learned, Hyunwoo replied. How to be dangerous when everything seems hopeless. The largest Void Hunter ship was almost finished charging its weapon. The red glow was becoming blindingly bright. In a few moments, it would fire and destroy them all. But Hyunwoo was not watching the enemy ship. He was watching his fellow humans as they took positions throughout the bridge. Each one moved to a different station. Each one began working with the alien crew in ways that seemed impossible. Humans adapt, Da-un explained to the confused Commander Veltar. We do not just use technology. We become part of it. We make it do things it was never designed to do. That is impossible, Veltar protested. These systems have safety limits. They cannot be pushed beyond their specifications. Safety limits, Hyunwoo repeated with a dangerous smile. Commander, humans have a saying. Rules are made to be broken. The Void Hunter weapon was almost ready to fire. But suddenly, the Federation ship's shields began glowing brighter than anyone had ever seen before. The energy output readings were climbing far beyond what should have been possible. What are they doing to my ship? Veltar whispered in amazement and terror. Making it fight, Hyunwoo answered simply. So-Young Lee's hands moved across the engineering controls like she had designed them herself. The alien engineer watched in amazement as she bypassed safety systems that he thought were impossible to override. The power core can only handle this much energy, the engineer protested. If you push it further, it will explode. It will not explode, So-Young said calmly. It will sing. She connected her small device to the alien computer system. Immediately, the ship's energy readings began climbing. The shields grew brighter and stronger. Throughout the ship, systems that had been damaged by enemy fire began repairing themselves. At the weapons station, Dong-hyun Kim was showing the bug-like weapons officer how to modify the ship's mining lasers. Your people built these to cut through asteroids, he explained. But with a few changes, they can cut through enemy armor. The focusing crystals cannot handle that much power, the weapons officer clicked nervously. Then we do not use focusing crystals, Dong-hyun replied. He pulled out what looked like a simple piece of earth metal. We use this. The alien stared at the metal piece. What is it? Iron, Dong-hyun said. From Earth. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best. Near the computer systems, 2 more humans were working. Jiwoo Park and Soo-Jin Kang had connected their own devices to the ship's main computer. Their fingers moved rapidly across keyboards that were not designed for human hands. What are you doing to our navigation system? Asked a nervous crew member. We are not changing your navigation, Jiwoo answered without looking up. We are changing theirs. On her screen, lines of code scrolled past faster than the alien could read. But Soo-Jin could read it perfectly. She had written similar code many times before. The Void Hunters use biological computers, she explained. Living brains control their ships. But all brains can be confused if you know the right frequency. Commander Veltar watched all of this with growing amazement and fear. How do you know our system so well? You have only been aboard for 3 days. Daun looked at him with a small smile. 3 days was enough. Enough for what? To map every circuit, analyze every system, and find every weakness, Hyunwoo answered. While you were showing us your strength, we were learning how to use it better than you do. More humans had spread throughout the bridge. Tai Min-yang was working with So-young at the engineering station. Ye Jin-yoon had joined Dong-hyun at weapons. Seung-ho Lim was doing something with the ship's life support systems that made no sense to the aliens. Your life support? Veltar asked in confusion. We are in battle. Why are you concerned with air recycling? Seung-ho looked up from his work. Because air can be weaponized. He showed Veltar a readout of the ship's atmospheric composition. With a few adjustments, Seung-ho had changed the air mixture in the cargo bays. Now it was highly flammable. If any void hunters board our ship, Seung-ho explained, they will be breathing explosive gas. One spark and boom. The alien crew members began to understand. These humans were not just using their technology, they were improving it in ways the original designers had never imagined. This is impossible. The Luminari representative flickered. Our safety protocols prevent these modifications. Your safety protocols, Min-ho said from his position at communications, assume that users will follow the rules. Humans specialize in creative rule-breaking. As if to prove his point, Min-ho had turned the ship's communication array into something entirely new. Instead of just sending messages, it was now broadcasting a signal that caused interference in the Void Hunter ships. What frequency is that? Asked the communications officer. The frequency of human music, Min-ho replied. Specifically something called heavy metal. It seems to upset their biological computers. Through the ship's speakers, they could hear confused sounds coming from the Void Hunter vessels. The organic ships were moving less smoothly, as if their pilots were having trouble concentrating. How did you know this would work? Veltar demanded. We did not, Hyunwoo admitted. But humans have a saying. When in doubt, try something crazy. The largest Void Hunter ship fired its planet killer weapon. The red beam struck their shields with enough energy to destroy a moon. But instead of breaking through, the beam was absorbed and redirected. The ship's shields not only held, they grew stronger. Impossible, Veltar gasped. No shields can withstand that much power. You are right, So-young said proudly. No shields designed by the Federation can handle it. But these are not Federation shields anymore. These are human-improved shields. She had connected the shield generators to the ship's mining equipment, food processors, and even the gravity generators. Every system on the ship was now contributing power to their defense. You are using our own ship against us, Veltar realized. We are using your ship for you, Daun corrected. The difference is that we are not afraid to break a few rules. The Void Hunter fleet was becoming confused. Their standard tactics were not working. The Federation ship should have been destroyed or surrendered by now. Instead, it was fighting back in ways they had never experienced. More Federation ships began following the human example. Jiwoo and Sujin had transmitted their modifications to the other vessels in the fleet. Soon, all the surviving Federation ships were operating beyond their supposed limits. You are teaching our fleet to fight like humans, Veltar observed. We are teaching your fleet to fight like they want to live, Hyunwoo replied. The battle was changing. Where before the Federation ships had been retreating and taking defensive positions, now they were attacking. But not with normal weapons or tactics. One Federation ship had turned its cargo bay into a giant shotgun, firing containers full of metal debris at the enemy. Another was using its tractor beam to grab asteroids and throw them like stones. This is not how civilized species fight, protested the Saurian representative. Civilized species lose wars, Dong-hyun said bluntly. Survivors do whatever works. The Void Hunters were adapting too, but slowly. Their hive mind made them powerful, but also predictable. They expected enemies to follow patterns. Humans did. Not follow patterns. Why are you doing this? Veltar asked Hyunwoo. Why risk your lives for us? We offered you protection in exchange for servitude. Now you are protecting us for free. Hyunwoo considered the question while watching Hyejin turn the ship's food synthesizers into chemical weapon factories. Because that is what humans do, he said finally. We do not calculate the odds. We do not weigh costs and benefits. When someone needs help, we help, even when they plan to enslave you? Even then, Daeun answered, because enslaving others is wrong, and humans fight against wrong things. Another Void Hunter ship tried to ram them, but Taimin had modified the navigation system. The Federation ship moved in ways that should have been impossible, dodging the attack and firing back with weapons that now cut through organic armor like it was paper. Your species is insane. The bug-like alien clicked in amazement. Probably, Hyunwoo agreed cheerfully. But insane species are hard to predict. And things that are hard to predict are hard to defeat. The tide of battle was turning. The Void Hunter ships were taking damage faster than their biological systems could heal. Their coordination was breaking down as human-generated interference confused their hive mind. But the largest Void Hunter ship was not retreating. Instead, it was moving closer, preparing for a final, desperate attack. Its bioorganic hull was opening, revealing weapons that pulsed with dark energy. That is their final weapon, Veltar said with dread. It consumes life force itself. Our shields cannot stop it. Hyunwoo looked at his fellow humans. They had turned the Federation ship into something amazing, but they might have reached their limits. Can we stop it? He asked So-young. She looked at her readings and shook her head. Not with defense. The weapon draws power from living things. The more life it detects, the stronger it becomes. Then we do not defend, Seung-ho said with a dangerous smile. We attack first. With what? Veltar demanded. That ship is too large for our weapons to damage significantly. Seung-ho looked at his atmospheric readings. The explosive gas he had created was not just in their cargo bays anymore. He had been pumping it through the ship's external vents. Who said we need to damage it? He asked. Sometimes you just need to give it indigestion. Seung-ho's plan was simple and terrifying. The explosive gas he had created was now floating in space around their ship like an invisible cloud. When the Void Hunter flagship moved close enough to use its life-draining weapon, it would fly right into the gas. One spark, Seung-ho explained to the horrified alien crew, and that big ship becomes a very big bomb. But the explosion will damage us too, Veltar protested. Only if we are here when it happens, Hyunwoo said. He looked at So-young. Can you give us enough power for an emergency jump? So-young checked her modified systems. Yes, but only a short jump, and the ship might not survive the stress. Better than definitely not surviving, Daeun pointed out. The massive Void Hunter ship was almost in position. Its weapons were charging and dark energy swirled around its hull. The creature ship was so large that it blocked out the stars behind it. All Federation ships, prepare for emergency jump, Veltar commanded into his communicator. Follow our lead. But the other Federation ships were too damaged to jump. Their engines had been hit by enemy fire. Only the flagship could escape. We cannot leave them, the Luminari representative flickered anxiously. We are not leaving them, Donghyun said. He had finished his modifications to the mining lasers. We are giving them a chance to win. The plan was more complex than just an explosion. While Seung-ho created the gas bomb, the other humans had been preparing their own surprises. Jiwoo and Sujin had uploaded a computer virus into the Void Hunter network. The virus was hidden in the music signals that Minho had been broadcasting. Every time the Void Hunters tried to filter out the interference, they downloaded more of the virus. Their biological computers are starting to malfunction, Sujin reported. But the virus needs more time to spread through their entire fleet. How much time? Hyunwoo asked. 3 minutes, Jiwoo answered. We do not have 3 minutes, Veltar said. The Void Hunter flagship was almost close enough to fire its life-draining weapon. Then we make time, Yejin said. She had been working, with the ship's food synthesizers turning them into chemical weapon factories. Commander, do you have any objection to using poison gas against our enemies? Veltar looked shocked. Chemical weapons are banned by galactic law. Galactic law assumes civilized warfare, Hyjin replied. The Void Hunters eat planets. I think we can bend the rules. She activated her chemical dispensers. Clouds of toxic gas began spraying from the ship's emergency vents. The gas was designed to attack biological systems exactly like the living ships of the Void Hunters. The enemy ships closest to them began to slow down. Their organic hulls were being poisoned, but the flagship was too large and too far away to be affected much. It is working, Taemin reported from the engineering station. The smaller ships are having trouble moving, but we still need to deal with the big one, Hyunwoo said. The flagship fired its life-draining weapon. A beam of pure darkness shot toward them. But So Young had one more modification ready. Overcharging the gravity generators, she announced. Hold on to something. The ship's artificial gravity suddenly increased to 10 times normal. Everyone on the bridge was pressed down into their seats. But the gravity field also bent space around the ship. The dark energy beam curved away from them and hit one of the smaller Void Hunter ships instead. You turned us into a black hole? Feltar gasped under the crushing gravity. A very small temporary black hole, So Young corrected. Do not worry. Probably we will not collapse into a singularity. Probably, the Saurian representative hissed in terror. 90% sure, So Young said cheerfully. The gravity field snapped back to normal, and everyone could breathe again. But the flagship was now moving directly toward them, angry and desperate. Time for the gas bomb, Shung-ho announced. Wait, Min-ho called out. I am getting something strange on communications. He adjusted his modified equipment. Through the ship's speakers came a sound unlike anything they had heard before. It was like whale song mixed with electronic music. What is that? Dahyun asked. It is coming from the damaged Void Hunter ships, Min-ho said with excitement. I think they are trying to surrender. This was unexpected. Void Hunters never surrendered. They fought until they died or won. The virus, Jiwoo realized. It is not just interfering with their computers. It is separating them from the hive mind. Sujin nodded excitedly. The individual ships are thinking for themselves for the first time. And thinking individuals do not want to die in pointless battles. Several of the smaller Void Hunter ships had stopped attacking. Their weapons powered down, and they began broadcasting the strange whale song surrender signal. But the flagship was not affected by the virus yet. It was too large and its biological computers were too complex. The massive ship continued its attack, firing everything it had at the Federation fleet. The big one is still coming, Veltar warned. Then we finish this, Hyunwoo decided. Sung-ho, trigger the gas bomb. So Young, prepare for emergency jump. Everyone else, hold on. Seung-ho activated a small spark generator he had hidden in the gas cloud. The explosion was magnificent and terrible. The space around the Void Hunter flagship turned into a ball of fire brighter than a star. At the same moment, So Young activated the emergency jump. The Federation flagship disappeared just as the explosion reached them. They reappeared several thousand kilometers away, damaged but alive. Through the windows, they could see the aftermath of the explosion. The Void Hunter flagship was crippled, drifting in space with its hull cracked and burning. Did we win? Asked the nervous bug-like alien. Look, Dahyun pointed. The surviving Void Hunter ships were not attacking anymore. Instead, they were surrounding their damaged flagship. But they were not trying to repair it. They were singing. The whale song sounds filled space as dozens of Void Hunter ships communicated with each other in ways they had never been able to before. The virus had given them individual thoughts, and they were using those thoughts to question their orders for the first time. They are debating, Min-ho translated. Some want to continue fighting. Others want to go home. Some are asking what home even means. The hive mind controlled them completely, Jiwoo explained. Now they have to decide things for themselves. It is confusing for them. The Federation fleet regrouped around the flagship. The surviving ships were badly damaged but functional. More importantly, they were alive. How many ships did we lose? Veltar asked quietly. 7, reported the tactical officer. But we destroyed or disabled 11 enemy vessels. The remaining ones appear to be retreating. It was true. The Void Hunter ships were slowly moving away from the battle area. Some were helping their damaged flagship. Others were just leaving. The attack was over. We won, Veltar said in amazement. Against impossible odds, we actually won. You won, Hyunwoo corrected. We just showed you how to use what you already had. Veltar looked around his bridge. It was full of sparks, smoke, and the smell of overloaded circuits. His beautiful ship had been turned into a weapon of mass destruction, but it was still flying and his crew was still alive. You turned my ship into something it was never meant to be, he said. We turned your ship into something it always could be, Da-un replied. You just never tried. The other Federation representatives were staring at the humans with a mixture of fear and respect. Your species is terrifying, the luminary representative flickered. You take peaceful technology and make it violent. You break every rule. You risk everything on impossible plans. Yes, Hyunwoo agreed simply. And it works, the Saurian added with reluctant admiration. Against all logic, it actually works. Through the communication system they could hear the Void Hunter ships still singing their strange songs. Some were leaving the area completely. Others were just floating in space, as if they had forgotten what they were supposed to be doing. What happens to them now? Veltar asked. That is up to them, Sujin said. They can think for themselves now. Maybe they will choose to stop being monsters. Or maybe they will become worse monsters, the Saurian warned. Maybe, Hyunwoo admitted. But at least now they have a choice. Everyone deserves the right to choose their own path. Commander Veltar was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. Human philosophy is as dangerous as human tactics. Probably more dangerous, Da-un agreed with a smile. The crisis was over, but Hyunwoo knew that everything had changed. The Federation had seen what humans could do when pushed to their limits. There would be no more talk of protection in exchange for servitude. The question now was, what would happen next? The Federation fleet limped toward the nearest space station for repairs. The journey took 2 days, and during that time the ship was filled with an unusual quiet. The alien crew members worked to fix the damage, but they kept glancing at the humans with new eyes. Commander Veltar found Hyunwoo in the observation deck looking out at the stars. The human seemed calm, as if the desperate battle had been just another day at work. Your people saved us, Veltar said, sitting down beside him. The crystalline alien looked tired, and his natural glow was dimmer than usual. Your people saved themselves, Hyunwoo replied. We just showed you how. By breaking every safety protocol we have, Veltar said. By turning our own technology against its original purpose. By risking all our lives on plans that should not have worked. But they did work, Hyunwoo pointed out. Veltar was quiet for a moment. Yes, they worked. That is what disturbs me. Through the large windows they could see the other Federation ships. Each one showed signs of the modifications that humans had taught their crews to make. Weapons that were never meant to be weapons. Engines pushed beyond their limits. Shields that drew power from coffee machines and gravity generators. For 300 years, Veltar continued, the Federation has grown through careful planning and safe expansion. We follow rules. We test everything thoroughly. We never take unnecessary risks. And the Void Hunters almost destroyed you in one battle, Hyunwoo said quietly. Yes. Veltar's glow dimmed even more. We have become so careful that we forgot how to fight. Da-un approached them, carrying a data pad. Commander, I have something you need to see. She handed him the device. On the screen were detailed reports about threats throughout Federation space, pirates attacking trade routes, hostile species expanding their territories, ancient weapons left by dead civilizations that were starting to activate themselves. This intelligence came from human sources, Da-un explained. We have been monitoring these threats for 3 years. Veltar scrolled through the reports, his expression growing more amazed with each page. You have been protecting Federation interests without us even knowing? Someone had to, Hyunwoo said. The Federation is not as safe as you think it is. You have been lucky that most hostile species avoid direct confrontation, but luck does not last forever. 3 years, Veltar repeated. You have been watching us for 3 years. We have been watching the galaxy for much longer than that, Daeun said. Earth is not as isolated as you think. We have people everywhere. This was news to Veltar. Everywhere? Minho joined the conversation. 16 Federation worlds have human residents. Most of them think we are refugees or traders. Actually, we are intelligence officers. Spies, the Saurian representative said, approaching the group. You are spies. Observers, Hyunwoo corrected. We needed to understand the galaxy before we revealed ourselves. We needed to know if the Federation was worth joining or if it was just another empire looking for slaves. So Young and Taemin arrived carrying more datapads. The intelligence reports are just the beginning, So Young said. We also have technological improvements for every major Federation system. She showed them designs for better engines, stronger shields, and more efficient weapons. All of them were based on human improvements to existing Federation technology. You could have shared this knowledge years ago, Veltar said. Why did you wait? Because knowledge is power, Taemin answered, and power in the wrong hands is dangerous. We needed to know what kind of people you were before we gave you better ways to kill each other. And what did you decide? Asked the Luminari representative, who had been listening from nearby. That you are worth saving, Daeun said simply. You make mistakes, but you try to do the right thing. You follow rules even when the rules are inconvenient. You care about fairness and justice. But you are also weak, Jiwoo added, joining the growing group. You have forgotten that sometimes good people must do terrible things to protect what they love. Veltar considered this. And humans remember? Humans never forget, Sujin said. We come from a world where being nice gets you eaten. We learned to be kind when possible and brutal when necessary. A dangerous combination, the bug-like alien clicked nervously. The most dangerous, Hyunwoo agreed. But also the most useful. Veltar stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the damaged Federation ships continued their slow journey to safety. What do you want from us? He asked finally. Partnership, Hyunwoo answered. Not protection, not tribute, not slavery. Just the chance to work together as equals. Equals? Veltar turned around. You have technology we do not understand. Intelligence networks we never detected. The ability to turn our own systems against us. How are we equals? Because we need you too, Daeun explained. Humans are good at fighting and surviving, but you are good at building and creating. You make beautiful things. You solve problems with patience instead of violence. You think about consequences before you act. We balance each other, Hyunwoo said. Human creativity and alien wisdom. Human determination and alien caution. Human weapons and alien dreams. Veltar looked around at the other Federation representatives. They were all listening carefully. What exactly are you proposing? Donghyun stepped forward with another datapad. A new Federation department, strategic innovation, humans and aliens working together to prepare for threats that normal methods cannot handle. Like the Void Hunters, Veltar said. Like everything, Hyejin added. Pirates who hide in black holes, ancient machines that wake up and start killing, plagues that jump between star systems, hostile species that do not care about your rules. The galaxy is more dangerous than you know, Seung-ho said. But it is also more wonderful than you imagine. Humans can help you see both sides. Veltar took the datapad and read the proposal. It was detailed and well thought out. Humans and Federation species would work together in mixed teams. They would share technology, intelligence, and strategies. Most importantly, they would prepare for threats that neither side could handle alone. This would change everything, Veltar said slowly. Everything needs to change, Minho replied. The old ways almost got you killed today. The old ways kept us safe for 300 years, the Saurian protested. No, Daeun said firmly. Luck kept you safe for 300 years. Today your luck ran out. Tomorrow, something worse than void hunters might attack. Will you be ready? The Federation representatives looked at each other. They were all thinking the same thing. The humans were right. Their careful, peaceful approach had failed when faced with real danger. If we agree to this partnership, Veltar said carefully, what guarantees do we have that humans will not try to take over? None, Hyunwoo answered honestly. You will have to trust us. That is not very reassuring. Trust is never reassuring, Da-un said. That is what makes it trust instead of certainty. But consider the alternative, So-young added. Today, 12 humans saved 23 Federation ships. If we had been enemies instead of friends, would any of you still be alive? This was a sobering thought. The humans had demonstrated that they could take control of Federation technology whenever they wanted. If they had hostile intentions, resistance would be nearly impossible. You are asking us to bet our civilization on your good intentions. The luminary flickered nervously. You are asking us to do the same thing, Hyunwoo pointed out. We could stay hidden and safe on Earth. Instead, we are offering to stand beside you when the galaxy tries to kill you. Why? Veltar asked. Why? Take that risk? Hyunwoo looked out at the stars again. Because humans have a saying, evil succeeds when good people do nothing. The galaxy has too much evil and not enough good people fighting it. So you fight. So we fight. All the humans said together. Veltar made his decision. I will recommend that the Federation Council accept your proposal. But I have one condition. What condition? Teach us, Veltar said. Not just your technology or your tactics. Teach us how to think like you do. How to see problems as opportunities. How to turn every setback into a weapon. That is a dangerous thing to learn, Da-un warned. Once you start thinking like humans, you cannot go back to being safe and careful. Good, Veltar said firmly. Safe and careful almost got us exterminated today. As the Federation fleet approached the space station, word of the battle was already spreading. The impossible victory over the Void Hunters was becoming legend, but more importantly, it was becoming hope. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had seen a new way to fight against the darkness, not with bigger weapons or stronger shields, but with creativity, determination, and the willingness to break rules when rules got in the way of survival. What happens now? Asked the young bug-like alien. Hyunwoo smiled. Now we teach the galaxy something new. How to be dangerous when everything seems hopeless. How to fight like humans. And if we lose? Then we lose fighting, Da-un said. But we do not lose hiding. The stars outside seemed brighter somehow, full of promise and threat in equal measure. The galaxy was about to change, and for the first time in a long time, that change felt like hope instead of fear. The Federation had found its backbone, and humanity had found its purpose among the stars. The real adventure was just beginning.